Hey everybody, this is Ford Sports Media. We're here for our 6th episode of our disc golf podcast. Well,
Hey,
actually, today's going to be our first episode where we discuss more than just disc golf,
okay, I
which
like it.
is technically what Ford Sports Media is all about.
That's
We obviously want to pursue growing sports in general, as our sport is obviously growing.
right. And so we're going to get to talk a little bit about pickleball today. I'm going to let Thomas take that session. We're also going to make some our way too early predictions for the majors this year. We're going to talk a little bit about a potential Gannon Burr controversy.
Yeah, it's an interesting one for sure. Then we've got a tournament that the Lone Star guys played off in Texas. Obviously, we have pickleball. We've got new discs as usual. We've got a couple fun exit pieces for the end, and so
Yeah,
you've got one in particular that I'm not too aware of what exactly is going on. I've got my top five as normal, but
yeah.
I think it's about time to get Trey. Start us off. What exactly are we doing with our way too early?
So in a lot of sports, you'll see these like way too early draft picks, like way too early season predictions. And so we're going to do that today with the disc golf majors. We've got no idea how this season's going to play out. We don't know who's going to play well. We don't know who's going to make steps forward, take steps back. And so, with no preconceived notions, we're going to come
Mm-hmm.
into this and make predictions for all, I'll say 5 majors, because we're going to include them, of course, the U.S. women's.
Right.
So we're going to pick winners only
Correct.
for MPO and FPO.
So we'll
For
do MPO for Champions, European, Worlds, and U.S. Disc Golf Championship, and then FPO for Champions, European, Worlds, and U.S. Women's. Not throw pink, even though it goes on at the same time as USDGC.
right, and really should be a major,
Totally.
but anyway, it's not, which is
Yeah, it would be nice to see them consolidate. I don't. I mean, maybe there's history that I'm unaware of as to like why they play it completely separate. I think it would be fun to see them all playing Winthrop.
yeah, I think, and it's run like a major. If you like, I got to go last year and watch a little bit of throw pink and the USDGC,
Right.
and the tournament is run so well, and the players love it. They
Mm-hmm.
really enjoy it, and so it's treated as a major.
Definitely.
It has that big tournament feel for the FPO field just as much as it does the MPO. So
Let's get into Champions Cup, which neither of us have gotten to go there for coverage itself. I've gotten to play WR Jackson, which whooped my butt.
I mean, obviously,
Yeah, I mean, I think I was like 24 over par, which shot at the time close to my PDGA rating. I think I
hey,
was 850 at the time. It was around that area.
there you go.
I feel terrible. So, who do you have taking it? We'll go you, me, and then we'll swap.
Yeah, we'll do a little snake draft on it.
Definitely.
So for me, this is going to be a repeat champion. Chris Dickerson is going to come back and win Champions Cup back to back.
All right. All right. All right. I like it. For me, this one I think is going to come as a shocker, and it's a little biased because I saw a video today of this person playing this, but I'm going to go with Casey White.
Whoa!
He shot the hot round one last year, absolutely crushed it, and he was showing footage on his way down to Florida preseason starting up, and he went out and played, and he was just really ripping it. His putts are super spinny. He's got a lot going for him, and I think as he's getting a little bit older, he's maturing a bit. He is really dialing it in. So,
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I think I mean, that's a very interesting pick.
oh yeah,
That would be a shocking move. I think Chris Dickerson's play, he shreds the woods, and
definitely.
he is, I think, just an easy pick for this tournament to repeat. He shredded it last year, and I think he'll do the same this year.
Awesome.
So, Thomas, we're going to make our way to Nokia, Finland for the European Open at the Beast. I wish we could go.
It would be a really fun time.
That's got to be on our bucket list.
That'll definitely be one of those like pipe dreams of a tournament to make it out to.
Oh,
So
totally.
I think it is very understandable for me to assume that the Eagle McMahon is going to go and win
Okay.
European.
Wow. Okay. Going for the repeat.
Yeah,
Both of us starting out with our first 2 tournaments picking repeats. I'm gonna divert a little bit here. There was a great competition between two athletes
Okay.
at the European Open.
Mm-hmm.
Eagle McMahon and the winner for this year, Paul Macbeth.
Definitely.
Paul, what a battle.
You can't go wrong with a Paul pick, but it's always fun to see Paul just absolutely duke it out with somebody in a major.
Oh man, and that was such a battle. Like I listened to Chandler Kramer talk about it on or I read through a Reddit post where he was talking about it and he was just like he was almost in awe of watching that
Right.
happen. When he came in third, he had a great tournament, but
Yeah.
did not compare to what Eagle and Paul did. So I think Paul will come back. I bet it'll be a great battle between them again, but I think Paul comes up on top this time.
All right. We'll have to see. I'll be excited to see that one come down to the wire. So, Worlds. It's all you, Foshi.
Oh man, I've got a little bit of a hot take here, maybe.
All right.
Maybe not a hot take. This guy is consistent. He played well all year last year. He won Idlewild last year. I think Isaac Robinson is going to win Worlds this year.
Oh, baby.
And I don't think that's that big of a hot take in reality because
It's not.
the man is a consistent golfer. You play 5 rounds at Worlds. You want somebody who is consistent, doesn't get riled up when he makes mistakes.
Right.
He is a consistent guy. He keeps it all together.
Very much so a level head guy.
Yeah, and I just think he's got what it takes. It's just it might even come up down to a similar situation with like what Aaron Gossage did last year,
Right.
where it's him battling with Paul or Ricky. But I think Isaac has that killer instinct. He won a pro tour last year. He is improving and getting better every year. He battled with Ricky at the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship.
Yeah.
I think Isaac Robinson's going to be a world champion this year.
Oh, baby. I'm not going to go as crazy on this one, but I really do like the pick. I think that's a very solid pick. I don't think there's anybody that could say that is not a possibility. And really all of these people have chances to win. We're obviously going based on odds, gut. My gut says Gannon Burr.
Okay.
I think he obviously he's the USDGC champion right now. It is obvious that he has the talent to win a major.
Definitely.
I think it's happening this year. I think he's taking it to the next level. I don't necessarily know the youngest world champion. Historically speaking, maybe it was.
We'd have to look it up. It might be Paul. It could be. It could have been Ken Klima when he first started. I don't know the answer to that question. We can, if you know who is the youngest world champion, let us know in the comments.
Definitely. So I think he's got everything it takes to win Worlds. So we'll see how that goes.
He definitely does. I think. Oh, that would be a great battle, wouldn't it? Isaac and Gannon.
I would love
Prodigy Bros.
That would be
it down.
Just two people. Hear me out. Like you and I love sports.
Yeah.
Sports is just like it's something that brings community together. And to see like a group like Isaac Robinson and Gannon Burr walking down the fairway the 18th, round 4, tied, smiling with each other, saying good shot to each other would just be that would be pure sports right there. Like obviously we watch plenty of sports where there are people that just like dislike each other. You're like, oh, come on. But like that would no doubt be pure sportsmanship and pure just talent walking down the 18th.
It's chills just thinking about it. That would be insane. I hope it happens.
It would be wonderful. So we'll do all the guys and then wrap around to the women. So for USDGC, is it me first on this one?
Yeah, give it to us.
I'm going back to back. Gannon Burr, baby.
Whoa. That is bold.
I think he is on an absolute tear. I think he's going to start the season off maybe a little slow, maybe snag a couple second and third place finishes across the board, and I think he's going to absolutely rip it through the end of the second half of the season.
Wow. Okay, so you've got him winning his second USDGC title in a row.
Exactly.
And I think the bigger thing that you were seeing here is you've got neither Paul nor Ricky winning a major this year.
Which, historically speaking,
it speaks to the parity that's happened in the sport now. We have so many players who have great opportunities and who are great athletes that can come out and win tournaments. And I've got Paul winning Europe, and so I can't go quite that far to say neither of them are going to win a major, but it could happen this year.
Yeah. So who do you have? I'm interested.
Oh man, I've gone back and forth on this one. I think that for the first time in a long time, an American is not going to win USDGC.
What do you got?
This guy competed extremely well with Gannon last year, and I think he's going to come back and win it this year. I've got Niklas Antila
Oh,
taking it. He finished as a top 10 golfer last year.
yeah.
Niklas is an incredible athlete. He works super hard at his craft. You can tell that he's motivated. The European players in general, it seems like they've got just a drive to play. And I think Niklas, young athlete, works really hard at the craft. And I think you're going to see that pay off this year with his first major win.
I love to see it. And if we're honest, just from, say, a pulse check on what I see from like a bird's eye view of like US disc golf, I think Europeans are typically less followed. People think not less of them per se, but they don't see them playing as often. It is just, again, in the recent, as you've seen the sport grow so much
Yeah.
since the pandemic happened, travel was restricted, and you've got so many good players off in Europe. And
Yeah.
Niklas is obviously a great example of somebody who has a ton of opportunity this year to absolutely shred it.
Absolutely.
I love it.
So we'll swap over to the FPO side here.
We're going to go Champions Cup back for FPO, right?
That is correct. And so I'll let you go first on this one, actually, Thomas. So who on the FPO side is going to win the Champions Cup?
I've gone back and forth on this one, and I'm going to have to go with Kristen Tatar for the Champions Cup.
I think it's going to be the first time we're in agreement. Kristen Tatar is going to come off this. I think she's had an elbow or shoulder injury.
Right.
She's had an arm injury that's prevented her from playing as much earlier in the year. But I think as long as she's playing at Champions Cup, she wins Champions Cup.
Oh, yeah.
There's actually no doubt in my mind.
She has less distance than, say, some of the other FPO players up top, but like technically speaking, but when it comes to accuracy and when it comes to wooded golf out there, I think it's a no-brainer that Kristen's going to take it down.
Yeah, I mean, Paige won it last year. She can definitely make an impact this year and win it again. But I think if you're not picking Kristen, you're picking incorrectly on this one.
Yeah. So let's go European Open.
Well, I mean, this is going to be pretty straightforward from me. I've got Kristen Tatar taking it down, winning her second major of the year back home in Europe. I guess not quite home. She's Estonian, but
totally
closer to home for sure, playing in Finland. So I've got Kristen Tatar taking down 2 of 2.
Well, I won't be too far off of you, geographically speaking.
Oh,
I am going with Evelina Salonen.
Whoa!
Taking down the European Open. I think she's absolutely ready. She's hungry, and I think it's not even going to be a competition. I think Evelina is going to come out there, and obviously there are questions about Evelina's putting.
That's what I was going to say.
I think as she gets more experience on television, actually being filmed playing, gets that pressure really on her, she's going to come and show out. She's got absolutely almost unmatched distance, and her accuracy is wonderful. And if she can dial in that putting, I think she wins European Open by like 7-8 strokes.
That's a big if on the putting because she has really struggled in Circle 1. Surprisingly does okay in Circle 2, but then you see her miss like 12-foot putts. She's out there putting like me.
Right.
Which is
it's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate, but I do hope that she is able to improve this year and work really hard on that putting. I think she's got a great opportunity. I think someone to watch in European Open, and because I don't have her winning any tournaments, I think Ella Hansen is.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the Disc Golf Pro Tour recently dropped on their YouTube channel the distance competition championship at USDGC.
Ellen's got that distance.
I think, what, 550?
Something like that.
It was unreal. Awesome. So I think that she will be very competitive at European Open, but I don't think she'll beat Kristen.
Totally. Let's send it off to Worlds.
Yeah.
And for me, and I think if this doesn't happen, there may be a chance that it doesn't happen again, but I'm going Paige Pierce.
Whoa. Okay. I mean, I definitely see it because, again, we talked about consistency when we were picking Worlds, when we talked for the guys, when we talked about Isaac and Gannon, talked about 2 consistent golfers. Paige is, I mean, she has been the face of FPO for as long as I've been watching disc golf.
Yeah.
And so it would be no surprise to me to see her win Worlds.
Yeah, I think with, obviously she lost in 2021 on hole 18. That
Yeah,
was tough.
yeah,
She lost this past year. Kristen takes it down. I think Paige is ready for this. Would be if she won, it would be number 6, correct?
I believe so. Yeah,
I think Paige is very eager for this event in particular. I don't think there's any event that matters more to her. And I think seeing 2 years without it, if she doesn't win this one, it's not that I doubt Paige Pierce. It's that I think obviously parity is becoming very apparent.
right.
I think it could be the last time that Paige Pierce wins as we see more competition come in. Obviously, you've got Kristen shredding it. Katrina Allen's always a force to be reckoned with.
Always.
So we'll see.
So you're taking Paige. You've got 3 unique winners. I I'm I'm gonna stick with what I've been going with from the beginning. She's going 3 for 3. Kristen Tatar is gonna win Worlds.
All right.
I don't have to say anything about it either.
No,
It's like I just think that she was so dominant last year, um, that you're just going to see that play out again and again and again. I'm not saying she's going to win every disc golf pro tour event, but when it comes down to these majors,
yeah,
you're going to see her play at her best, and she's gonna at least at this point sweep.
definitely. So let's run it in to U.S.
Okay.
Women's. What do you got?
U.S. Women's. Does Kristen make the Grand Slam? Yes. I'm picking Kristen Tatar.
To go 4 for 4?
She is going to win all 4 majors. She is going to be a Grand Slam champion. She is winning
Right.
all 4 of them.
Wow.
And for what it's worth, she's going to win throw pink too.
I mean, I don't doubt you when you say that. Obviously, she's dominated the pro tour scene this past year, and it's not out of the picture for her to just do it.
Right.
I think it's very possible. Throw paint or not throw paint for U.S. Women's. I'm going to go Kristen Tatar. I think it's very understandable to expect her, but I think she's going to go bookend. So I think Champions Cup, U.S. Women's, and obviously, my thoughts are Evelina and Paige taking the 2 middle ones, but
Which are good picks. I'm not gonna discredit those. I just think Kristen's got one more year of absolute dominance before I think players like Holland Hanley, Ella Hansen, who is new to the game,
Valerie
Mondahano, even Alexis Mondahano, we might see her jump up this year. There's just several athletes. Haley King, if she comes back.
Haley King is just a little bit of like getting the mind absolutely right. She is a force to be reckoned with if she can get out there, and she's taking the right steps to like make it there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I even think of a player like Kat Mersch, who she can absolutely shred a course too.
Oh yeah.
There's so many people who could. I just don't think that this is the year. I think this is the year for Kristen Tatar. But Thomas, just to smooth transition there. But we did talk a lot about Gannon Burr. And
you mentioned this thing to me today. It sounds like, and maybe I should spend more time on Facebook.
Maybe not. Probably not.
Tell me what you saw.
So I as a disc golf connoisseur, I'm on a lot of different collector pages, buy sell trade pages, and I happened to see that Gannon Burr had a ton of discs for sale.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're showing like 3-4 different lots of just like absolutely wild amounts of discs.
Yeah, I mean, like drivers, the Test M2s that are just completely sought after, the Will Shoestring Black H1s that you can't find anywhere. He's got 20 of them, and he's selling them. And kind of came as a surprise to me. Gannon has done. It seems like he's obviously built up a stockpile,
right?
And
which makes sense for a pro.
Yeah, for sure. But then it didn't make sense to me. Why is he unloading all of these? And there, I went through and saw where someone asked if he was switching companies, which I don't think he's going to answer that question on Facebook. But his response was that he was unloading some backups that it weren't used. And I mean, that seems somewhat reasonable. I feel like if you're planning on staying with a company for a long time, you want a good stockpile, especially for a pro when you're having to cycle so many discs.
Yeah.
But Um, it did make me think back to a tweet from Drew Gibson.
This is back on January 24th, I believe, right?
Yeah. Drew tweeted just a myriad. He was talking about the 2023 season, and he was talking about Macbeth going to the Euro Tour, Simon signing with MVP, AB signing with Discraft. He even, as Drew Gibson does, threw his own company in there. Said that
Right.
they're going to make 4 new molds. He's got to add a little flair for himself. But the one thing that stood out is it says Ganon to Discmania.
What a wild tweet.
And this could just be Drew Gibson blowing smoke.
Oh, yeah.
And more than likely it is. But it is interesting to see, like, Ganon's unloading discs. Drew Gibson's talking about Discmania, grabbing Ganon Burr. Like, they just got paid. They did just get paid.
They did just get like $1 million in the buyout. It would make sense. And I think a lot of the movement that we're seeing across Discmania is a result of, obviously Simon's leaving. I think there's a lot of change with all the UC stuff that went on. I think it's understandable to think that movement is going to take place when big, what we'll call it a news event, a large life event. We don't have to go more into details on that, but when this stuff happens with UC, obviously there's going to be a lot of shifting, a lot of moving pieces just dispersing. And Simon runs off and Babcock signs, and then we see this tweet. Maybe there's some money for a guy that probably deserves a really big contract.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see because I mean the reality is Prodigy has got a good problem on their hands in that they have. I mean Ganon's their guy, and Ganon they need to pay Ganon.
Oh, yeah.
They need to pay Ganon, but they do have the Robinson brothers. They do have Alden Harris. They do have Kevin Jones.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes, I mean, Kevin Jones almost to some extent is being like lost in the shuffle,
which is wild.
That is wild. Prodigy has they have a stacked group.
They've got the young boys, definitely.
And so it wouldn't be so surprising to see, Ganon gets an offer he can't refuse from Discmania, from any company really, and to see him throwing different discs. Is this really what's happening here? Maybe.
My personal thoughts, well, we're nearing the off season. Obviously, it's expensive to tour. Not that Ganon is probably low on cash. I don't know the specific details of his deal.
No.
But it wouldn't surprise me if he's selling some discs, getting some extra cash to make sure that he's good. I mean, I don't know anything about his finances, but it would make sense leading into the Pro Tour season that, hey, I'm going to try to make sure that, my checking and savings account are doing fine. So
it's fun to think about, though. Think about Ganon throwing a PD2.
What if Discmania picks up all of the Prodigy boys?
They're like, okay, we can't afford Simon, but we're going to get all the Prodigy boys.
That would be kind of nuts. So that's probably enough on the Ganon. We'll see where that goes. We'll hit very quickly on there was a tournament. I just happened to be scrolling through Instagram, and it sounds like 3 of the big Lone Star guys played the Hideaway Open, and it was very simple. I mean, the results were not anything absolutely crazy. It was Emerson Keith winning, Chandler Kramer in second, Robert Burge in third, and it was pretty it was pretty close for Chandler and Robert. Chandler played a better second round, but Emerson Keith took it by 4 strokes. Okay. The primary thing we wanted to talk about was the course seemed to be really hard. We're not very accustomed to seeing pros shooting over par in mass.
And that being the hot round, even.
Right, and that specifically, Emerson shoots the hot round alongside Chandler Kramer in round 2, playing the Deep Ellum Hideaway Open, the Black Tee Longs, and shoots 2 over par. And that's a 10-25 rated round. So obviously there's room. We see pros go off and shoot 10-50, 10-70, even 1100 rounds. Yeah. But it's interesting seeing that go on. And maybe they're not taking it as serious like they would like a Pro Tour event. Who knows?
Right. It's a warm-up event. That's kind of what they're looking at here. But it is, like you said, a +2 was a 10-25 rated round. That sounds like a difficult course.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see I don't know where that course specifically is located. Did it say on there?
It might have mentioned the city that it was off in. I don't.
In Terrell, Texas. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know where that is, but it would be interesting to see if an A tier or a bigger tournament, or if more people came to this tournament, what would happen there. But it was still. I mean, I,
It's interesting, yeah,
it,
honestly,
it
especially in the off season when there's not a lot going on.
right. It's good to see like guys are playing more tournaments, getting warmed up because I mean the reality is it's becoming harder and harder to be competitive on tour.
Oh yeah,
And so they're trying to take every advantage they can get.
and you got to play hard golf if you want to end up being on the pro tour long term. Whenever like pro tour cards are a thing, and like it's not just an automatic, based on your rating, you get to register really early for an event. So
Yeah. Right. So Thomas, so for the first time, we are going to have the pickleball
section, I guess.
pickleball minute.
Yeah, so we love disc golf. Obviously, that's our primary audience that we want to speak to because that's our primary sport. We love disc golf. We play disc golf constantly. We just played an event this past weekend. It was very cold.
It was
Ice
so
bowl.
cold.
But pickleball, similar to disc golf, and on a little bit of a lower end, is a very growing sport.
Yeah.
It's often referred to as the fastest growing sport in America.
Yeah, currently.
So, uh, with that in mind, the Professional Pickleball Association had their first event of the year. The what I can't remember it was the Hyundai Masters is what it was in
Okay.
Rancho Mirage, California. And I went through, and I don't follow too much pickleball per se. I do love playing. Me and several of my colleagues will go off and play when we get a chance.
Have we played?
I don't think we've played pickleball. I would love to play pickleball sometime soon.
I've played a couple of times and I think it's pretty fun.
It's a good time.
Yeah.
It's nothing crazy. It's obviously not tennis at the end of the day. It is not tennis, but Ben Johns takes the Triple Crown in there, which we'll make a quick note. The Triple Crown, and we'll lay out the tournament structure. Every tournament, there are 5 different events that go on. There are 4 events in the gender divisions. I guess 2 per. There's the men's singles, the women's singles, the men's doubles, the women's doubles, and then the mixed doubles.
Okay.
Where one man and one woman play with each other.
Got it.
So the Triple Crown is when you win your singles, you and your partner win doubles in your gender division, and then you proceed to also win mixed doubles.
Okay, that's pretty impressive.
So you go through and win all 3 events.
Yeah.
Ben Johns goes and takes the Triple Crown in men's. Leanne Waters goes and takes the Triple Crown in women's, meaning they played together. It was them two playing together and proceeded to take the Triple Crown. And so I got to go and watch some coverage on the men's final.
Okay.
What they refer to as the gold medal match. It's first place,
Okay.
and then they do like so first and second place. Obviously, there's your consolation match for third for the bronze. And during the match, the opponent of Ben called an extra timeout at the end, and the ref was like, "You don't have a timeout,"
Okay.
and then proceeded to call him on a what was similar to a courtesy violation for swearing. I mean, he was rocking at first. In the first game, he was up. They played to 11.
Okay.
It was 6-0. Ben Johns proceeded to go off and win 11-6, I believe it was.
Oh my goodness!
And then
What a run.
and then the second match, Ben won again 11-6. So it was really fun to watch. I prefer singles as a tennis fan. I think doubles is really close up, very ticky tacky back and forth. But it was really fun to watch, and there's going to be a lot of coverage this year. So we hope that you go off watching pickleball, and primarily that you go out and play some pickleball.
Yeah,
Really
for
fun.
sure.
Good cardio, specifically singles.
Okay, yeah. I mean, we'll definitely go play.
I want to make a clear note. Trey and I have some plans of going off to some pro tour events this year.
Yes, we do.
And Zach Melton, there are plenty of people who have picked up on pickleball, in between rounds, in between events.
Yeah.
But Zach Melton in particular has been the driving force of playing pickleball amongst disc golfers. And that's why I think it's really fun to pay attention to pickleball. So Trey and I are going to be making it out, hopefully, to a few different events this year. And if we get a chance, Zach, if you watch this by any means, I would love to beat you in singles.
Hey, and you pick any partner, and we'll beat you in doubles too.
It's gonna be a wild off season as we practice for that eventual matchup. So on to another normal section. We've got new discs. You want to ride us through it real quick?
Yeah, for sure. And to prevent butchering names, Yikun Discs just dropped several different discs. I don't want to butcher the names. I think that would not be great. And so we'll just go ahead and get that out there. Seems like they're doing a lot. Yikun,
Yeah.
I believe they make for other companies as well.
Definitely.
The D model, F model from Prodigy are
Right.
made by Yikun, as well as I think the active line from
Yes,
Discmania.
you are correct.
And so they are cranking out discs.
Definitely.
So it'd be exciting to see what these discs are. They had, I believe it was like 5 or 6 new ones coming out, and they have it seems like a wide variety of options there. So that'll be cool. But the one that stood out to me was the Axiom Tempo.
Yeah, you showed me a picture of that
Yeah,
one.
which I mean, I love gyroplastic. I throw a lot of gyroplastic, and when I saw this and I looked at the profile, I was like, "Huh, that looks like a zone."
It is ye old zone clone. I mean, we say that because it's a really good alliteration, not alliteration, but it rhymes, and so
Yeah,
it's fun to say. It make there is not there is technically speaking an infinite amount of molds that you can make because you can always make plastic just a little bit different angle. But at the end of the day, it makes sense. A putt and approach disc is going to have a certain profile.
right. And so right now that line, the MVP Axiom streamline, doesn't really have. They have the entropy,
Right.
but the entropy is much deeper than the zone.
Right.
And I did notice that this one is about 0.4 millimeters more shallow.
Okay. And so that's kind of like the shallower rim on its own.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes
So
sense.
it's going to feel more comfortable in people's hands for forehands potentially.
Yeah.
I will definitely be checking it out.
Awesome. You've got a slightly different section for us up next.
Yeah, so
I don't really know what's going on. Lead me in.
yeah, so we are ditching Foshi's facts, at least for now, and we are going to switch to Foshi's fun and games.
All right.
So this is just going to be a segment where we get to show a little bit of our disc golf knowledge, as well as like
Embarrass me.
yeah, a little bit, but also like kind of give an opportunity to show what we think and then be able to interact with you guys. And so typically what the Foshi's Fun and Games is going to look like is we are going to pick a topic within disc golf and we are going to draft lineups.
All right.
So whether that's picking disc golf companies, disc golf teams, disc golf players, or discs themselves, which is what we're going to do today. So we are going to be drafting we're going to be doing the disc golf bag draft. And the twist with this one will be once a manufacturer is picked, you may not pick another disc from that
Like
manufacturer.
each of us. Like it's unique. If I pick Discraft, you can still, but just one disc.
No, I cannot pick Discraft. Discraft is off
How many
the table.
discs do we have to pick?
It's just 5. So
Okay.
so I was we had talked about bringing a third person on to make it very interesting. We're
gosh.
15 different companies.
Lord.
But I think it would be easier than you think. But we are going to draft bags and we'll go through and we'll put it on Instagram, we'll throw it on YouTube to where you guys can vote on who has the better bag.
All right. I mean, it's going to be me at the end of the day. So
I mean,
don't worry.
Yeah, I'm sure. No, it won't be.
Let's get started, man.
So,
you, since you are running it, I will give you the honors of going first.
okay. And what we'll do is we'll snake draft this as well.
Sounds good.
So, starting out, I mean, I've got to go with the classic. I'm going Innova, and I'm taking the Destroyer.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm going to go with Discmania and the Cloudbreaker 3.
Okay, interesting. And so it's back to you.
It's back to me. I'm going to go with the Discraft Raptor.
I I was hoping you wouldn't take Discraft. I was not going to take the Raptor. I was going to take the Zone,
That's an understandable one.
but because you need, I mean, it's the best overstable
Right.
approach disc. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go Axiom Hex.
All right.
Got to grab that perfect mid range. It's the best mid range that's ever been made according to Simon Lizotte.
Makes sense.
And so after that, okay, so got the distance driver. I've got my mid range. I'm gonna go ahead and go down that overstable approach disc route. I'm gonna go with the West Side Harp.
Ooh, that's a really good one.
Yeah, you took Zone away from me by taking the Buzz. Wait, no, you took the Raptor.
I did
You
take
didn't
the
even take
Raptor.
the Buzz.
Did not take
What are
the
you?
I don't throw a mid range that much. I'm definitely going to need something that's just a little bit faster that I feel like I'm definitely going to succeed on like a shorter forehand. Gives me a little bit of utility disc in the mix.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I definitely understand that.
If I get two,
Yep.
I'm going to go with the Prodigy PA3 as my putter. Oh, gosh. Man, this is a tough scene. So we've used Discraft, Discmania, MVP,
And no, MVP still available.
Axiom,
Innova and West Side.
West Side. Man, this is where my limited knowledge comes up. I'm gonna go with. Man, I'm trying to.
You've got MVP, Dynamic, Latitude, Gateway, Clash.
Yeah, I was trying to
Lone Star.
remember what I wanted specifically to go with. I was gonna go. I was trying to make sure I had it right.
You picked a good company.
Yeah, I was gonna go with the relay from MVP.
Okay.
I've gotten to throw a relay a few times and I've really enjoyed that disc. So that's going to feel that like slightly mid range,
So yeah, it's
slightly like it kind of bleeds into that fairway driver area.
yeah. So now you got something overstable, something understable, and the good distance driver
Right.
too. Okay, so I've got my final two picks. You took away one of mine. Let me think here. Okay, so I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with something that isn't so overstable, um, that it's like just a utility disc, but I'm gonna pick something that's overstable enough that you can work with it. I'm gonna go with the Dynamic Discs Evader.
Ooh.
I actually haven't thrown an Evader, but I've seen the way Ricky throws Evaders,
Right.
and I think it would be a really nice disc for me throwing on backhand. I was gonna go Volt in that slot, but
Right.
you took that away from me. And okay, so I think I'm gonna knock this out of the park because I think I'm gonna go. It can be a throwing putter and a putting putter. I'm gonna go with the Latitude 64 Pure.
Okay. I can see that. Man, I'm not super familiar with the non like upper echelon of like like
Yeah,
large brands.
you still got Streamline. You still got Gateway, Clash. Some of the smaller companies, Mint, um, EV7. You could put an Alpaca. No, you already got a putter, so you're looking for a mid probably.
I was probably going to go more the putt and approach. Man, my brain just absolutely. The harp was a nutty pick. That's not. I mean, it's not one I think of often, but so many people absolutely. I'm going to go with a Berg.
Hey, okay.
I'm going with the Berg. That fits that throwing area. I don't. I'll throw the PA3 some,
Yeah,
but the Castle Class Berg is.
I mean, people.
Obviously, I'm going to win this because I picked the Berg. Yeah, everybody's part of the.
Dude, I got
Berg
Destroyer. I got
cult.
Destroyer Hex. I got the Evader. There's no way.
I think it's
I
an
ran.
easy win.
I
For me.
ran away with this.
There's not a chance that you're gonna. We'll leave a little poll up in the upper right of your screen, and that way you can vote on who you think picked better. We'll make sure to give you the discs, but
Yeah, we'll throw it up. We'll throw it up on Instagram too, and give you an opportunity to vote on that as well.
it can happen. Let's lead into the good old fashioned.
Thomas's top five. Got no idea what this one's gonna be. Let me hear it, Thomas.
All right, we're going to be relatively quick with this. I don't think this is going to be anything that's absolutely wild, but I went with a topic that's a little bit descriptive and a little
Okay.
bit niche. I don't think you're going to know the answers to this one off the like what you think your top 5 would be,
Okay.
but I'm going to go with the top 5 disc golfers most likely to beat a kangaroo in a boxing match.
What? This isn't that wild, but they're gonna fight kangaroos.
Coming in at number 5, we've got the Aaron Gossage.
I mean, I don't even know how to judge this. Like, what?
It's a tough one.
So, why Aaron Gossage?
Aaron Gossage is just a manly man. Like, you just see that dude. Like, I feel like that mustache just gives me confidence that I'd want him in my corner if Kangaroo Jack came over ready to just beat me up. You know, if you've ever seen that.
I've definitely seen that.
The kangaroo or the guy hitting him.
Yeah.
Coming in at number 4, Drew Gibson.
Now that makes sense.
Little swole boy, you know?
That makes sense.
That dude, he can throw far, and he could definitely punch a kangaroo if he had to. Coming in at number 3, I've used this person in my I guess we've discussed this person in the podcast before, but I'm going with Gavin Babcock.
Okay.
He's definitely a shredded boy.
Did it die?
Oh, internal temp I allow it to cool.
Oh, weird. So we're gonna have to chill for a minute.
So our camera died. Said its internal temperature got a little too hot. It was really worried about Gavin Babcock beating the heck out of it. Did it just turn off again?
No.
No, it's still recording.
Oh. Okay, so Gavin Babcock, former wrestler.
Is he a former wrestler?
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that. So Gavin Babcock goes and takes number 3.
Yep.
This one, I don't think you're expecting, but Albert Tam.
Oh, I'm expecting that.
That dude, whew, he's a monster. Crushed it in the distance competition. I would want that dude in my corner.
Oh, I mean, absolutely. I'm surprised that's not your number 1. I'm excited to hear your number 1.
I don't think it comes as any surprise that Ezra Aderhold is going to absolutely dominate the kangaroo fighting competition.
He's Jack. He
So,
really is.
Yep, that's my top 5 for the week.
There we
Thought I'd
go.
be something a little creative, but that's the 6th episode of our podcast. Thanks for hanging in there with us as the camera died, just a little bit, but
Hey, we got it figured out. We're here. Thanks so much for listening.
we're super excited for the season to start.
We're right on the edge of it. So
Let's make it happen.
we'll have some previews coming soon, and we got some exciting things up in store. So
Definitely. So appreciate y'all for watching. Like and subscribe. Share if you could. We'd appreciate it. Y'all have a wonderful day.
absolutely. Thanks, guys. See ya.